Ark Raiders. Ark Raiders is an upcoming extraction adventure. Well, that's what the devs call it. Well, anyway, but what it is just an extraction shooter. I know you're all going to say, oh, not another bloody extraction shooter. But actually, this one is pretty good. Off the bat, we can see the devs are obsessed with the Honda CRXs from the late 80s, early 90s. They've just changed the headlights on them. It's not a bad thing, it's a decent car. But anyway, let's crack on with this testing. I was lucky enough to get access on the last playtest, and we're going to take a really quick look here. As soon as you start, you're in this training mission, basically. Now, it seems to randomly generate you a name, so I couldn't see a way of actually creating your own name for this. I'm not sure if that's intentional or if it was just part of the test. But yeah, I mean, all this does is just give you a brief introduction to the game. You know, it shows you the basics of looting and shooting and fighting and so on. Here we'll get to see the inventory system. It's here just standard drag and drop kind of thing. You've got limited space. You have got a few slots that you can't lose if you die. You know, the standard stuff for these kind of looter shooters. Oh, look, another CRX there. I think we must be close to a Honda factory. I had no idea this guy was actually going to shoot me, but it's part of the tutorial and guide, I guess, that just introduces you to a bit of combat. When you kill a player in the game, they let off a flare. So if you're outside, it kind of alerts other players to where the combat's going on. So I've skipped on a bit here, and I've teamed up with one of my friends who invited me to the test. Anyway, you get your kind of challenges on the left-hand side and the quests as well. You can pick up new quests from traders, similar to Tarkov. The traders will also sell you general goods, weapons, and so on. So quickly here, we'll just go over this. Main hub is what we're in now. This is where you launch to a mission, or ready up if you're in a group. Then you've got traders, you've got a workshop where all the crafting's done. Character is where you do your loadout. Battle pass is battle pass. You can get unlock cosmetics and a few other things as well, I think. And then on the right hand side, you've got your money that you can use for buying stuff from the traders. And then the gold money is used to buy cosmetics. And this is just the loadout screen. You don't start with much. Important things here are the med packs, bandages, and the shield regens. We'll see why when we get into the game. You obviously start with a basic weapon and some ammo. So when you finally find a match, you do this little walk of shame, say goodbye to everyone, jump in this little tubey thing, and launch yourself to the surface. I don't know why. I'm going to have to look into the lore when the game actually releases. So I didn't try this myself, but basically whoever is the team leader gets to select a map that they want to go on. And similar to other extraction games, you know, the different maps will have different loot and different missions to do and so on. Yeah, I think everyone knows how extraction shooters work these days. You just got to go into the map, try and get as much loot as possible and get out of there without dying. And this one's no different. But, I mean, if you're used to games like Tarkov, I suppose, Tarkov is super hardcore. I mean, you literally can go into a map, die from one hit, and that's it. You got to start again. This is a lot more forgiving. You won't necessarily die from a single hit. You got a shield, you know, and health. That you can take a good couple of hits before you'll go down. That's not to say you're a bullet sponge. You know, it will be a couple of hits and you will go down. But you can actually get revived by your teammates in this as well. And I think it's just a bit more fun than Tarkov these days. I used to love Tarkov in the past, but it just got too much, you know. In the end, I just stopped having fun with it. And then when all that cheating stuff came out, it was like, oh, yeah, no thanks. But, you know, I'm not going to say this is going to have no cheaters. It probably will as well. But it just seems a bit more forgiving and a bit easier to get into. So, there are NPCs in this game as well. They're little robots. That was just a little tiny one that my mate took out there with his pistol. But there's other ones in the game, from drones that fly around in the air to like really big spider ones that I've seen so far. So there's a decent selection of enemies to fight, as well as other players, of course. And usually when you start firing, or if you take out one of the NPCs, they'll alert others as well. So there's a flyer there. And honestly, I think we're getting closer to this Honda factory. These CRXs are everywhere. One there. One there. One there. But you can loot vehicles and stuff like this. It makes a ton of noise so people will hear what's going on. But obviously you get some decent loot from them. Most of the loot you can use for crafting, or you can sell it. Oh look, someone's obviously died over there. So there must have been some PvP going on. And then once you've looted everything you want, the extraction points are these little bunker things you can see here. But there's someone in here already trying to extract. And he's got this spider thing kind of aggroed on him. You can see I tried to get a shot, but he's already out of there. He's too late. And then this spider chases us, basically. But yeah, these big enemy NPCs are very hard to fight. And as you can see, he's squished me with one hit there. But yeah, that's not the end. Because like I said, you can crawl and you can actually get revived by your teammate. So yeah, you can crawl into a safe spot and then your teammate can revive you, basically. Luckily that spider NPC doesn't have any ranged weapons, so it made it a bit easier. So I get revived here. I then need to use bandage to heal myself. And as well as using the bandage to heal myself, I should use something that repowers my shield. Basically a shield recharger is what it's called. And that way then I'm back into the game. It takes a while to do both. It takes a while to regen your health. And it takes a good 10 seconds for your kind of shield recharger to work. So you are vulnerable while you're doing that. And players can come and finish you off. So this is the map, quick look. These are the extraction points, the elevators. And you can only use them when there's a time counting down on them. So that, you know, there's only specific extraction points you can use. And obviously everyone knows people can extract it because of the timer. So it can lead to PvP fights. So the maps are very vertical. There's lots of different ways of getting around, from ladders to these zip lines. You can even make your own zip lines at some point. But constantly there'll be these NPCs around it. You've got to kind of make sure that you don't get spotted. Some of them are bigger than the others, like I mentioned before. But these guys have a good selection of weapons, like rockets and machine guns, so they're quite tough. And as you can see, I get hit and then go down again. So again, I got to rely on my teammate to get me healed up. And as these are ranged units, we kind of got to make sure they can't shoot you when you do get revived anyway. But yeah, again, now I would need to use another med pack and another shield gen to get myself back up. So it's important you take enough with you. Otherwise you could end up with very little health left and no shield, and you'll go down really fast then. Yeah, we finally find an extraction point that we can get to, but we're actually running out of time on the map itself, as you can see. And it seems that meteors start to drop. I'm not 100% sure what's happening or the lore behind it. Again, hopefully I'll find out more when the game releases. But yeah, so we're rushing to try and get out of here. And this is where we get into some PvP. So someone's shot down a drone there. But then my friend runs in and I think he gets downed here. As you can see. So then I'm hammering this guy with a shotgun I found. This actually got decent range. And the combat feels really good when you get into it. There, I get him down. I go to revive my mate, but he just tells me there's no need, because at this point, even a player down can actually extract. So you just got to hold down this and it'll kick the extraction process off. And I didn't realise he was doing the same thing, but I just managed to kill him just before we escaped. So I'm not sure if he got out or not. Hopefully he didn't. And once you complete a mission like that, it'll give you an overview of everything that you've looted. It'll also show you like XP you've gained, where you've gained that XP from, whether or not you've completed any challenges or quests. And then, yeah, you get into the game, you can start repairing your equipment, you can start crafting, you can start buying and selling stuff. You know, standard looter shooter stuff, really. But it's actually really well done, and I was quite surprised how well it played, considering. I'll quickly show the leveling system before I end the video anyway. Obviously, when you level up, you get a couple of points to spend in different ways, so you can customize your character. I go down the stamina route because it's, you know, stamina seems to be important, because if you're running a lot and you run out of stamina, it could probably lead to your death. Anyway, that is Ark Raiders, or well, a quick first look at it anyway. I know I didn't show too much action going on there or too much PvP. I got into the test quite late, but I did get into some fights later on, and it gets quite intense, especially when you're fighting big groups. But sadly, I managed to forget to record those fights, and by the time I realised that, the test was already over. If you like extraction shooters and you like the Honda CRX, this is definitely worth keeping an eye on, guys. I'm not 100% sure on the release date, but I think it's pretty soon. So yeah, once it's out, I'll take a proper look. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next.